my colleague get your name?
Yeah, you got my first name.
Do you mind if I take your first name? Is that okay?
What's your name and number then?
My name 2928 is PC Lee.
PC Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your name?
Well, I'm not prepared to divulge it in front of people that aren't police.
Okay. Well, I can ask that gentleman to step away if that's all right.
Yeah. Right. So what? Under what act are you asking for my details?
It's because we've been called today. Okay.
Yeah.
Anytime we get called to an incident,
yeah,
we like to get your name.
Yeah. What section of which act are you requiring my name?
I'm not saying it's under any act. You don't have to give your name to me today because you haven't committed an offence.
No.
But it's just for our records.
Yeah.
So would you be prepared to give me your name?
No.
No? Okay, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to make a note of your car registration.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay, is that alright?
Yep.
So all we're doing at the minute, obviously there's been a bit of confusion over the coins.
Yep.
Turns out that, as you said, they are legal tender, so
yep,
so it's now down to the petrol station whether they accept them. So your vehicle has come back to either a Brett Chamberlain.
You shouldn't be saying this in front of the people.
They can't hear me.
Yeah, they can.
Do you want me to ask them to move away?
From the very beginning, the officer completely mishandles the fundamentals of proper policing. Instead of remaining calm and assessing what actually happened, she immediately jumps into fishing for Brett's name. When he rightfully refuses to give it, she decides to run his number plate and then loudly announces, "Your vehicle's come back to a Brett Chamberlain," right in front of the Shell staff. That's not policing, that's public doxing. Brett instantly calls her out, forcing her to move the conversation away from people listening. And he's absolutely right for doing so. Officers have a duty to protect personal information, not broadcast it across a forecourt like idle gossip. What she did wasn't just unprofessional. It showed a complete disregard for data protection laws and the standards of officer conduct.
Divulge my personal details that you've got for Police National Computer.
I wasn't divulging them to them.
Well, you were speaking loud enough voice that they would have heard.
Well, they're not
right, okay, go on then.
So, a Brett Chamberlain.
Right.
What was your name?
Which section, which act you requiring me to give my name?
Road Traffic Act. You're driving a motor vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I require you to give me your details. If you don't, it is an arrestable offence.
Right, but am I on the highway?
Pardon?
Am I on the highway?
You've been driving this vehicle.
Yeah, but am I on the highway now?
You've been driving this vehicle.
But am I on the highway now?
Can you just give me your details, please, and then we can get this sorted?
Am I on the highway?
So what
yeah, but I'm asking a question. Am I on the highway?
You're not on a highway right now, but you have been on a highway.
Yeah, so you could have requested my details when I was on the highway, but now I'm not on the highway. You can't, can you?
I can.
You could wait until I leave, and then you could pull me over.
Under the Road Traffic Act, I can request your details.
Yeah, only on the highway, but not...
Can you just give me your details, please?
This is the point where the officer's grasp of the Road Traffic Act completely collapses. Just moments earlier, she clearly admitted that no offense had been committed. Yet now, she's suddenly trying to demand Brett's personal details under traffic powers that only apply when an offense has actually taken place. The contradiction couldn't be more obvious. Under the Road Traffic Act, officers are permitted to request a driver's information only if the person is driving or in charge of a vehicle on a public highway at the time of an alleged offense. Brett, however, was parked on a private forecourt, entirely outside the scope of that law. What this really highlights is a complete lack of proportionality. There's no crime, no threat, and no disturbance, yet she's escalating the situation as if it's a serious criminal investigation. A competent and well-trained officer would have de-escalated, verified the facts with the store, and moved on professionally.
This is all about rights, okay? Now, I've got a right not to give you my details unless I have committed an offence. Right, the Road Traffic Act is referring to vehicles on the highway, not on private property. So, if you're saying that I have to give you my details under the Road Traffic Act and I'm not on a highway, then you're infringing on my rights. Do you think I should provide my details on private forecourt?
Yes, I believe you should.
Because of the Road Traffic Act?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, why is that then?
Are you going to provide me your details?
No, I'm just asking you these questions. I may well provide my details, but you have to articulate the law as to why...
Under the Road Traffic Act?
Yeah.
Okay. You have used a highway to get here today, have you not?
That's not the point though, is it?
You have used a highway to get here today. Under the Road Traffic Act, okay, I can ask you to give your details.
So in other words, you could knock on my front door, my car's on my drive, and you could say under the Road Traffic Act, I want your details, and you must have been on the highway in your car.
You wouldn't be in your vehicle, would you?
Doesn't make sense.
You wouldn't be sat in your vehicle.
It doesn't matter though.
She's clinging to the Road Traffic Act as if it's some kind of catch-all power, insisting that because Brett used a highway to get there, she can now demand his personal details. But that's not how the law works. Powers under the Road Traffic Act 1988. Section 172 apply only when a driver is suspected of committing a specific traffic offense while on a road or in a public place. Simply having used a highway earlier doesn't somehow keep you under police authority once you've parked somewhere else. Brett's example about his car being on his own driveway was absolutely spot on. If the officer's logic were correct, it would mean any officer could show up at someone's home, see them sitting in their car, and demand their personal information just because they had once used a public road. It's an absurd interpretation of the law, and completely unlawful.
But because there's a way in and a way out, that means in law, in case law, it's an extension of the highway.
Okay.
And on that basis, I'll provide my details.
Would you like to give me your date of birth?
I can give you my driving licence because you. First of all, which section, which act?
Would you like to give me your driving licence?
No, which section, which
Under
act?
the Road Traffic Act.
Yeah, what section?
I'm asking you for your driving licence.
Yeah, which section, which
Can you
act?
just give me your driving licence?
You don't know it, do you?
There you go, 163.
That requires me to stop. If a police officer asks me to stop, but which?
And to give your details, sir.
No, that's another act. Go on. Which sections?
I'd have to check, sir.
Do you want me to tell you? 164.
164.
That's it. Very good.
There we go.
Right, so
This moment is absolutely brutal. Brett completely schools the officer using her own legislation. Before even handing over his license, he calmly asks, "Under what section of the Road Traffic Act?" Instantly, panic sets in. Her colleague hastily jumps in with Section 163, but Brett immediately corrects him. Section 163 only gives police the authority to stop a vehicle that's being driven on a public road. Nothing more. It does not grant them the power to demand personal details or a driving license after fact. The correct provision, as Brett clearly explains, is Section 164 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, which covers production of a driving license, not the authority to stop or question someone without reasonable cause. It's a basic legal distinction
You're still
that
gonna
any
be
properly trained
charged for the
officer should
payment?
know by
Yep.
heart.
At a later date,
Yet here,
okay, they've got your car
both she and her
registration.
colleagues
Yep.
stumble
They're going to
through
forward
it
it on
like
so that they can get
new
your
recruits on their
details from
first
your
week
car
of training.
registration.
Yep.
They're going to
Completely
forward that onto their
exposing
head
their lack of
office, and
understanding
you
of
will
the
be
very
chased for
laws
payment
they're meant
later
to
on, okay?
uphold.
yeah.
You're still going to be charged for the payment
Yep.
at a later date. Okay, they've got your car registration.
Yep.
They're going to forward it on to that. They can get your details from your car registration.
Yep.
They're going to forward that onto their head office, and
Yep.
you will be chased for payment later on, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, whatever. Yeah. I don't.
Are you going to accept your money back?
It's not my money. It's their money. It's also the Queen's money, actually.
Are you going to accept the Queen's money back?
No.
What do you want them to do with it then?
Put it in the till and accept payment.
Well, that's not going to be accepted as payment, so I think you may as well just take it back.
Yeah.
Because what's that?
I'm not taking it back.
£200? More than that?
240.
Pardon?
£248.83.
Yeah, I think you may as well take that back.
No, I
You're
don't
going to be
think
out
so.
of pocket otherwise.
I'm not going to be out of pocket.
Pardon?
I won't be out of pocket. I've paid for my fuel with cash, with legal tender.
This is the moment where the officer completely abandons her duty as an impartial enforcer of the law and instead starts acting like Shell's personal representative. She's fully aware that this is a civil dispute, yet she openly takes the business's side, urging Brett to just take his money back rather than respecting his legal right to pay with lawful tender. A police officer's responsibility is to maintain order and uphold the law, not to pressure a citizen into doing whatever is most convenient for a corporation. When Brett tells her the amount, £248, she casually responds, "Yeah, I think you should take that back," as if her personal opinion carries any legal authority. It's patronizing, it's unprofessional, and it clearly exposes how little she understands about the boundaries and neutrality required in her role as a police officer.
If you don't want to, fair enough, but just to let you know, they're going to raise it with their head office,
Yeah.
and their head office will be in touch, okay?
Yeah, okay then.
Is that okay?
Yep.
Have you got any further questions or not?
No.
They would like your details.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
you willing to give them your details?
No, they're private.
Pardon?
They're private.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, they've got my registration number, haven't they?
They've got your registration, but it's just whether you wanted to comply with them and give them your details, okay? I'll
Yeah.
let them know that you're not giving them your details,
Yeah.
and what would you like them to do with the money?
Well, it's up to them to do what they want with it. Obviously, it's payment, so
Well, they're not accepting it as payment, okay?
yeah. But obviously, they may well get legal advice, and the legal advice might tell them that they need to accept it, and therefore, if they've given me the money back,
They may
then they've got no way to recover the money then, have they? Because
May
they've...
well do. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that if they did give it back, there would be no recourse in law to recover the funds later on. So I'm doing them a favour by saying, look, you hang on to it, it's payment for my fuel. I'm not a fuel thief.
In simpler terms, what Brett is saying makes perfect common sense, and it's backed by solid legal reasoning. He's not refusing to pay. He's actually protecting both sides from making a bigger mistake. By leaving the money with them, he's keeping the transaction open and maintaining clear proof that he made a lawful offer of payment. If Shell later get proper legal advice and realize they were wrong to refuse the Royal Mint coins, the payment is already in their possession and can be accepted without any problem. But if Brett were to take the money back, that offer payment would no longer exist, and he'd have no legal way to prove that he had tendered the amount in the first place. It's a level of reasoning and composure you rarely see in encounters like this. Brett isn't being awkward or argumentative. He's being smart, measured, and legally precise.
If you still have to pay for the fuel again...
Now, how am I going to be out of pocket? Because what would have happened to the money that I've given them?
Pardon?
I've given them the money, haven't I? So how can I be out of pocket?
Okay, so you're not accepting the money, no?
No.
Okay.
Have you got your body-worn camera on?
Yeah, there.
Oh, so you didn't tell me about that either, did you?
Is there?
Yeah, but no. In the policy, it says that you need to advise somebody. In fact, everything that's happened up until this point is not admissible in court because you didn't.
I can't hear you.
I said everything that's happened on that camera is not admissible in court because you failed to advise me that you were recording. In the policy, your policy.
What section is that? What policy is that?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, loads of people on YouTube will get back to you on that. So if you just look up this video,
That's fine.
they'll explain the police's own.
That's perfect. I don't tend to watch police videos on YouTube.
No, you obviously didn't listen either when you were being instructed that you need to advise members of the public at the earliest opportunity that you're video recording them for evidence.
Like I say,
When Brett asks if her body-worn camera is recording, she confirms that it is, but completely misses the fact that she's already made a procedural mistake. According to College of Policing's operational guidance, officers must clearly inform individuals as soon as recording begins, unless there's a genuine operational reason not to. She failed to do that, and that's exactly why Brett points out that her footage wouldn't even be admissible in court. He's absolutely correct. Any evidence obtained without proper notification or adherence to policy can be challenged for procedural noncompliance, especially if it undermines fairness, transparency, or the integrity of the evidence. In simple terms, her failure to follow one of the most basic rules of body cam use could easily render her footage legally questionable, and Brett was sharp enough to catch it instantly. It could have easily gone the other way, but Brett's calm understanding of the law stopped the situation from spiraling out of control. Most people, when faced with the pressure of a police uniform, would have backed down or taken their money back just to avoid conflict. But Brett understood something crucial. Doing the right thing and knowing your rights aren't always the same. That difference is exactly why he walked away the winner. The officer's behavior throughout this encounter is a masterclass in how authority can replace understanding. She was so focused on enforcing something that didn't exist, from misquoting the Road Traffic Act to taking sides in a civil dispute, that she completely forgot the one rule every officer should live by: stay impartial. Her duty wasn't to pick a side, it was to uphold the law. Instead, she ended up protecting corporate convenience over citizen rights. This entire episode perfectly shows why auditors like Brett matter. They're not out there to cause trouble. They're there to expose it. From her failure to announce her body-worn camera to her total lack of understanding of payment law, this encounter highlights just how fragile public trust in policing becomes when basic professionalism is missing. In the end, Brett didn't need to argue, shout, or escalate. He let the facts, the law,